Hey everyone, I'm Ali, and welcome to my Chan Beyond Borders L. Today we're going on a cross-country road trip to explore the top 10 tourist cities in America, from the bright lights of New York City to the sunny beaches of Los Angeles. Get ready because we're about to dive into the heart of what makes these cities tick. We'll talk about famous landmarks, delicious food, and experiences you won't find anywhere else. Before we hit the road, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our adventures. Smash that like button if you're as excited as I am. Let's go. Oh, and don't forget to pack your sense of adventure because you're going to need it. Let's go. First up, the city that never sleeps. New York City. We start our journey in the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. You know, I once saw a rat carrying a slice of pizza bigger than my head down there in the subway. True story. Anyway, New York City. Times Square, Broadway, Central Park, the list goes on. You could spend a lifetime here and still not see everything. Make sure to take a stroll through Times Square at night. Those flashing billboards are something else. And if you're a theater lover, catch a Broadway show. It's an experience you won't forget. Oh, and don't even get me started on the food. From street vendors selling hot dogs to Michelin star restaurants, New York City has it all. Just remember, when you're walking around Times Square, watch out for those costumed characters trying to get you to take a picture. They can get aggressive, especially Elmo. Trust me, I've been there. For our next stop, we're heading west to the City of Angels. Get your sunglasses ready because we've arrived in sunny Los Angeles, the entertainment capital of the world, home of Hollywood, beautiful beaches, and enough celebrity sightings to make your head spin. You can't come to Los Angeles without visiting the Hollywood Walk of Fame, even if it's just to see how many stars you can recognize. And if you're lucky, you might spot a celebrity at one of the trendy restaurants on Rodeo Drive. Speaking of trendy, the fashion scene in Los Angeles is exceptional. You can find everything from vintage finds to designer stores. Just be prepared to spend a pretty penny. But it's not all glitz and glamour. Los Angeles also has a relaxed beach vibe thanks to its stunning coastline. Spend a day soaking up the sun at Santa Monica Beach or Venice Beach and you won't regret it. And if you're feeling adventurous, take a hike up to the Hollywood sign for breathtaking views of the city. Just watch out for rattlesnakes, they're more common than you think. Next stop, the Windy City. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're in Chicago, the Windy City. It's famous for its amazing architecture, world-class museums, and of course, deep dish pizza. Now I know some people have strong opinions about deep dish pizza, but trust me, it's a Chicago staple you have to try at least once. Just be prepared for a food coma afterwards. Once you've had your fill of pizza, take a stroll down the Magnificent Mile, Chicago's Rodeo Drive. You'll find all the high-end shops and department stores your heart desires. And for the best views of the city, head to the Sky Deck at Willis Tower. On a clear day, you can see for miles in every direction. It's enough to make you feel dizzy, but in a good way. Next up, we're heading to the Golden Gate City. Chapter 4. The Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco. Get ready for hills and amazing views because we've arrived in San Francisco. This city is a feast for the senses. From the famous Golden Gate Bridge to the charming cable cars that climb its steep streets. First things first, you have to take a ride on a cable car. It's the quintessential San Francisco experience, even if it feels a little like a roller coaster sometimes. And while you're there, make sure to snap some pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's even more impressive in person than it is in photos. For a unique historical experience, take the ferry to Alcatraz Island, the former home to some of America's most notorious criminals. It's a little eerie but fascinating nonetheless. And if you're a foodie, you're in for a real treat. San Francisco is a melting pot of cultures, and that's reflected in its diverse culinary scene. From fresh seafood to sourdough bread, there's something to please every palate. Hold on tight, we're headed to Sin City. Chapter 5, Bright Lights, Big Wins, Las Vegas. Get ready to roll the dice and have some fun because we've arrived in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. This city is famous for its fancy casinos, amazing shows, and exciting nightlife. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? Well, we hope that doesn't apply to your money. But seriously, even if you're not a gambler, there's tons to see and do in Vegas. Take a walk down the Las Vegas Strip at night and be amazed by the dazzling lights and awesome architecture. It's like Disneyland for grown-ups with cocktails. And speaking of cocktails, you have to try a yard-long margarita. It's exactly what it sounds like and seriously delicious. If you're feeling lucky, try your hand at the slot machines or blackjack tables. Just remember to set a budget and stick to it, unless you win the jackpot, of course. Next, we're heading to the Sunshine State. Chapter 6, Sun, Sand, and Salsa, Miami. Pack your swimsuit and dancing shoes because we've arrived in Miami, a city bursting with life and flavor. From its white sandy beaches to its vibrant Art Deco architecture, Miami is a feast for the senses. And don't forget the food. Miami is a melting pot of cultures, and this is reflected in its diverse food scene. You'll find everything from Cuban sandwiches to fresh seafood to key lime pie. Speaking of key lime pie, you have to try a slice or two while you're in Miami. It's the official pie of Florida, and for good reason. It's tart, sweet, and utterly delicious. After you've had your fill of food, head to the beach. South Beach is the place to see and be seen, but there are plenty of other beautiful beaches to explore in the Miami area, and when the sun goes down, Miami really comes alive. From salsa clubs to rooftop bars, there's something for everyone in this vibrant city. Get ready for a history lesson because we're headed to the nation's capital. Chapter 7, Monuments and Memories, Washington, D.C. Welcome to Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, a city steeped in history and tradition. From famous monuments to world-class museums, there's something for everyone in D.C. First, a visit to the National Mall is a must. This sprawling green space is home to some of the country's most iconic landmarks, including the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and the World War II Memorial. Speaking of memorials, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial is an incredibly moving tribute to the men and women who served in the Vietnam War. For a dose of art and culture, head to the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History. This museum has something for everyone, from dinosaur skeletons to ancient artifacts. And if you're traveling with kids, the National Air and Space Museum is a must-see. You can see everything from the Wright brothers' first airplane to the Apollo 11 command module. Next stop, the theme park capital of the world. Hold on to your Mickey Mouse hats because we've arrived in Orlando, Florida, the theme park capital of the world. From Disney World to Universal Studios, Orlando is a dream come true for families and kids at heart. Let's start with the big cheese, Walt Disney World. With 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, and countless other entertainment options, you could easily spend a week here and still not see everything. And if you're a Harry Potter fan, you can't miss the wizarding world of Harry Potter at Universal Studios. It's like stepping right into the books and movies. But Orlando isn't just about theme parks. There's also plenty of other things to see and do. From shopping at outlet malls to dining at world-class restaurants. And if you're looking for a bit of nature, head to Wekiwa Springs State Park for hiking, kayaking, or swimming in natural springs. Next stop, let's laisser les bon temps rouler. Get ready for some fun, because we've arrived in New Orleans, the city that knows how to party. From its vibrant music scene to its delicious Cajun and Creole food, New Orleans is a feast for the senses. Start your journey in the French Quarter, the oldest and most famous neighborhood in New Orleans. Here you'll find colorful buildings with wrought iron balconies, street performers, and shops selling everything from voodoo dolls to hot sauce. Speaking of hot sauce, New Orleans is known for its spicy food. Make sure to try a bowl of gumbo, a dish made with seafood, sausage, and a roux sauce. To experience New Orleans' musical heritage, head to Preservation Hall, a legendary jazz club that's been around since the 1960s. And if you're feeling adventurous, take a stroll down Bourbon Street, the heart of New Orleans nightlife. Just be prepared for crowds, loud music, and lots of alcohol. Last but not least, we're headed to the Emerald City. Grab your raincoats and a cup of coffee because we've arrived in Seattle, Washington, a city known for grunge music, coffee culture, and breathtaking natural beauty. First up, a must-visit is the Space Needle. This iconic tower offers stunning views of the city, Puget Sound, and the surrounding mountains. Speaking of coffee, Seattle is home to Starbucks, the world's largest coffee house company. But don't just go to Starbucks, be sure to check out some of the city's many independent coffee shops for a unique Seattle coffee experience. To experience Seattle's grunge music scene, head to the Museum of Pop Culture, Mopop, a museum dedicated to popular music, science fiction, and pop culture. And if you're looking for some outdoor adventure, head to Discovery Park, a 534-acre park with trails for hiking, biking, and running, as well as beaches for swimming and kayaking. And that concludes our whirlwind tour of the top 10 tourist cities in America. Alright folks, there you have it. The top 10 tourist cities in America. From the bright lights of New York City to the rainy streets of Seattle, this country has something for everyone. I have to say, putting together this list really made me appreciate the diversity and excitement that America has to offer. Who knows, maybe I'll dust off my own suitcase and start my own journey soon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more travel adventures. And if you see me on the road, say hello. Just kidding. Unless